I'm going to assume that you know that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has come out, and it's now past launch day, so you can actually play it. I did not get to play it on launch day, but now that it's somewhat fixed, I found some bugs. It's a lot of fun. It's like 2020 was good. Don't get me wrong. It was pretty revolutionary for when it came out. There's lots to do for a while, but you can only fly in circles so many times before it kind of gets boring. 2024 is just taking it to the next level with all the career stuff, the activities, everything. I've been playing a lot of it in VR. If you've never played one of the Microsoft flight simulators like 2020 or 2024 now in VR, highly recommend it. It's really cool. I've been rocking the Valve Index for quite some time. I wouldn't recommend buying this. It's pretty dated at this point, unless you find like one secondhand for pretty cheap. There's a lot better options out there now than this one. I've just kind of held out on this one because I'm really hoping Valve comes out with something sooner than later. Seeming like later. But that aside, one thing you do need, you don't really need head tracking, you don't need VR to really enjoy a flight sim. It makes it better, but you definitely need a HOTAS setup. You need a joystick and a throttle at the very least. And the one I've been using for quite a while is the Thrustmaster T16000M. This is the TWCS throttle that comes with it. I did use the Warthog, the Thrustmaster Warthog for a while, but then the throttle on that one just bricked itself, so it's just been dead. I went back to this guy. Now the biggest complaint with this one that you'll see online is the throttle is not very smooth out of the box, but there's a lot of fixes for that. The most common one is the one I did in a video forever ago where you print this little bracket that holds linear bearings and you put that in there and it's nice and smooth. However, when I got into 2024, plugged all my stuff in, jumped into some free flight, I noticed I had a problem.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Everything was just spinning. Now on this HOTAS throttle setup in the default settings on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, this little joystick here controls where your guy looks. If you're not using head tracking or VR, it's very useful. However, for whatever reason, this one is like if your Xbox controller drifted to the most extreme. And I don't know why it started doing this. I don't remember this being a problem before. If you go into the USB setup, you can see that it is all over the map. It really thinks it's on the left side of everything. And even if you try to reset it to defaults or calibrate it, I did have some luck calibrating it and it working for a while, and then it would just kind of slowly fall back on being horrible. And although I could find a whole bunch of fixes for the throttle sticking, I couldn't find anybody fixing this stupid little joystick, which got me thinking either it's not that common of a problem or it's just something not fixable. So today we're going to rip this thing apart and see if this joystick is fixable. I'm hoping cleaning it out. Maybe there's a lot of dog hair in there or something. Let's find out. So this is what we're after. This is the little 2-axis potentiometer. They're not really the easiest to clean in the little bit of research I did. They're kind of like a replace thing. But the first thing we're going to try is just something easy. We're going to blow a bunch of compressed air in there, try to get any dust that's in there out. And then we'll flush it with some IPA, dry it out, and see if that works. All right, so we'll put it back together. Taking this apart is pretty simple. You just obviously take the screws out. There's really nothing much to it. The only tricky or finicky little part about it, so you can see the rocker has this little tab on top here between the two springs there, and that kind of engages with this tab. So essentially it sits on the back side, so you can't pull it straight out. So you just kind of need to push it off to one side or the other, and it'll slide around that post, and it comes out pretty easily. I think that might have worked. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but when I got it all back together and I plugged it into the computer and got the USB devices up, the crosshair, it was rock solid. Before, when it first started doing this a couple days ago, after I just pulled it out of storage and started using it, the crosshair was in the center a little bit and it would kind of jump around, and then I'd have to calibrate it and I'd get it there, and then it would drift off into the left and stop working, and I'd go back in there, recalibrate it, and eventually it just shot off into the left side of the universe and never came back, and I just disabled it. But plugging it back in there after, I don't know, flushing it out, blowing it out, doing all that stuff, it seems like it's functioning like it did when I got it. Will it stay functioning? I don't know. So I'm going to play some Microsoft Flight Simulator tonight, give it a bit of a workout. I'll check back with you in the morning. Welcome to tomorrow, and I'm happy to report things are looking up. Everything is still amazing. It worked all last night. I never had any issue with it wanting to drift away. It's rock solid on the calibration screen or on the USB monitoring software in the properties tab. I checked it this morning. It is locked in. And it even seems like the resolution around the perimeter is much better than it was, which is super awesome. Now, if you want to try this, there is some risk when you take apart anything that you might break it and make it worse. My justification was the joystick already doesn't work, so I'm either going to take it apart and it's going to work, or it's just going to be broken like it was. So really, it was all wins, no matter what happened, or I guess it would be a win or stay the same. I would recommend using isopropyl alcohol. That's what I used. Compressed air, obviously, to initially maybe blow some dust out. Isopropyl alcohol to flush it and then help dry it out. This dry stuff dries really fast, doesn't leave a residue. I have seen people use like electrical contact cleaner on like Xbox controllers and stuff. I would just be very careful which one you choose to use if that's what you're going to do, because some of those contact cleaner can leave like a residue behind after they dry, and that would probably not be ideal. I would recommend isopropyl alcohol. It works great. In my case, it worked phenomenally, and I hope it stays put, which I think it will. It's been acting pretty good, and I know that if it starts to drift after I leave it in storage for a while or get Cheeto dust or whatever in it, I could just open it up, hose it out, dry it off, and we're back to running without having to buy a brand new throttle. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps you solve your problem, or at least give you an idea if it's dirty or broken, so you can buy the replacement parts or a new part. And we'll see you next time.